Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well, having a good Friday evening, and that, well, everything's going well. We're all here today because of the debate from Gavin and Jeff. That was on Richard Matson's channel. He was gracious enough to host. I was asked to do the after show, and I will complied. So here we are. Before I let people in, I'd figured I'd give a couple thoughts before. Uh, it seemed really bad on Gavin's part, from my personal opinion. Uh, I wanted to see a little bit more interaction, a little bit more charity with the links or sources, I should say, that Jefferson was asking. He should have extended that same charity to his opponent in the debate. I know I would have extended that. After all, we don't want to hide the truth of God, especially if something that's claiming a truth. But again, it doesn't have to do with salvation, so it's just either way, it's fun. But yeah, it was a decent debate. The description is in the live stream. Of course, it's in the live stream. The live stream link is in the description, is what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry, guys. I've had a long day. So let's start it off with DT. What's up, DT?
You got me right in the middle.
Of a toke?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Nothing. It's been a pretty good day. You got to work. You got to work tomorrow.
I work every day. Yep.
Wow.
I'm a nutter.
Thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome,
but
phone.
but but you're not doing you're not doing 12 hours a day still or whatever, are you?
Uh, I shouldn't be. Not like in the sense of where I'm out. It's just I got really busy. Oops, Siley Wiley. I got
Sorry.
really busy, so um,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I know.
These past couple days, everything's been happening. I've been getting extra work, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's been working out.
Yeah.
So, what did you think of the debate?
Back to the debate. Oh wait, they're saying you got. Oh, let me check out. I'm going to check your sound. Hold on a minute.
Hold up. Oh yeah, sound is fine. Okay.
It is out in
Yeah.
YouTube
Yeah.
land.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm listening to it.
Okay, right on. The biggest surprise for me in that debate, well, and not I don't know, whatever. Here's what stuck out for me is when Jefferson said something, and then all of a sudden, Gavin came out of nowhere, absolutely nowhere, with evolution. Gavin just like threw evolution in there as if
Well,
as if Jefferson had been presenting evolution as some sort of something or other. And
I
Jefferson, as
believe
far as I know, Jefferson never mentioned evolution, but I might be
I
wrong.
I believe he said the evolution of the way the people learned, the stuff about the Bible, whatever it was. He was talking about the scholars and the evolution of something. I'm pretty sure he said something, and then Gavin heard that, and then he said, "No, this isn't
Yes.
about evolution. What are you bringing?" He's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "There is no change," and he's talking about the way people find out information from, and that
Okay.
was what
Yeah.
Jeff was talking about, and Gavin just thought he meant evolution as in
Right.
with
Okay.
biology or whatever the heck it's called.
That's exactly what I thought happened. Something like that.
How could you mistake that?
Well, yeah, whatever.
Mishearing, I don't know. Yeah,
I don't want to, you know.
yeah. At first, I was gonna come on and say about the debate. I don't want to talk about it. Move on. That's how terrible it was. I don't think it
Well,
was. Well,
yeah.
it was
I
more,
kind of I kind of agree. I don't really have too many good things to say about Gavin on a good day. And, so if I tell you what I really thought of that debate, it's just going to be biased as fuck. Or, whatever. It's all good. But he claimed this debate was a waste of time. And I think he claimed his last debate was a waste of time. And I'm wondering, You know, especially if you're debating twin brothers and you know who they are, what other sort of outcome does he what I don't know. What does he think isn't a waste of time? Just talking to somebody that agrees with him? I'm curious. And with that, I yield.
I like that. With my time, I yield. That was nice.
What did y'all think of the spy?
What spy? I'm confused.
A minute ago, I showed something on screen. It was a dog.
Oh, I wasn't looking. Sorry.
Yeah, the dog was spying on me.
You should get a spray bottle and squirt it in the face. Like, bad dog. But yeah, sorry about that. I was only half listening, DT. My wife came into the room to give me some information. So,
that's fine.
sorry.
No big deal. Do you got any way of getting a hold of Jefferson?
I'm in his Discord.
Yeah, I send him a link or something.
Yeah, tell him why he isn't in here. Get
just
in here.
Just an idea. Yeah, and maybe he wasn't even. I forgot to even mention it to him or at him.
I know
or
Mathig posted the.
Oh, he did.
The link in the whatever the heck it's called, the
side chat.
Yeah, because I can't
live
post links
chat,
in Richards.
top chat, outside
I don't
chat,
have the wrench.
chatty, Kathy chat. Sorry.
Jesus the Lord says no sound, but yeah, I can hear myself perfectly. Unless there's another stream going on that we're unaware of.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
I hope we at least get like Gavin or someone from the debate in here. Somebody.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this is a pretty lame after show.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. Nobody wanted to have a fucking after show? I mean, what? What's up with that? People? Sorry.
Oh,
Jesus' Lord is out there. Oh. Mathpig says he has Jeff's email, but Discord would be quicker. Matt Bond said he might come in. Jesus' Lord is out there. He's always got something to say. I can't imagine he won't come in here. Jeff is coming. Jay is here. Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. That's like The Undertaker and Kane. It's The Undertaker and Kane. They're in the ring. Everyone's going crazy. Oh.
Do you think
it's the little brother? Actually, I don't know which one's technically older, Jay or I'm going to say Jay is older. So it's The Undertaker. Yeah, The Undertaker's in the ring. We're waiting for Kane. I'm just saying that's because I can.
Will Gavin show up?
Gavin can be Randy Savage, Macho Man.
Oh, man.
He's going to take us to the debate ringer, and he's going to show us whatever. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm pretty pooped.
What about the trash man?
What about what about Superfly Snuka?
I think that's past my time.
Who's putting on cricket?
It's the evil twin fuckers.
Did you know that there's a gene for hate email writing?
No, and you both. Is it past? Is it maternal or fraternal?
It's in our mitochondria, apparently. Yeah, it's probably on the mother's side.
Wait, what?
No, I just wanted to point out that the hate mail that Gavin is referring to was an email that I wrote to him calling him a horrible thing, and I said, I think you're a horrible person. And he was so infuriated by this hate mail, apparently, that he had Joe respond for him.
Oh yeah,
he didn't respond to my email.
That. I remember.
So you know, Mr. Righteous there at the end saying, "Oh, Jeff, you're not going to send me a hate mail like your brother did. You mean that hate mail that you had another man fucking respond to?"
Wait! I got to stop you right there. He never mentioned you, Jay.
Guys, you're missing the obvious here.
He said your
Gavin
brother.
is Jill. Gavin is
Oh,
Jill
he
because
did?
Jill responded.
Yes.
Oh,
said
I
you
didn't
were
hear
brother.
that.
Gavin is Jill.
Yeah,
I
Todd.
didn't.
You're freaking me out with that right now.
It's true.
Oh, Gavin.
About it.
All
He
right.
got his wish.
Well, you see, if you take the letters in the name, switch it around, put your name.
So a guy with kind of a vague, ambiguous New Jersey, New York, East Coast accent can just on the fly switch to a high pitched, nasally New Zealand accent on a whim.
He's a professional troll.
He really is. I bet he's been paid for that kind of voice talent.
I hope so.
I'm gonna go ahead and extend the link to Gavin.
That's awful nice of you, Tog. Very, very nice thing of you to do. How very atheist of you to do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You shouldn't tease Tog that way. He tries to be generous to us all.
Man, the days that I have to stop teasing Tog, then I gotta
All right.
go. Then me and Tog have to part
I
ways.
apologize. I don't mean to tell you what to do. You just
All right.
go ahead and abuse your good friend.
But no, I do appreciate your input, though. I would never, having said that, I would never take it. But no,
Well, I appreciate the honesty. And fuck you too.
Right on. All right.
Dog abuse happens every day.
We're all on the same page. So,
I should have
Jeff.
said truck on. I should have said that because that really got Gavin's goat.
Truck on.
Truck
Hey,
on. I was trying to keep it PG or maybe PG-13.
Right.
So everyone does know I did extend the invitation to Gavin in Discord as well.
Cool.
He's not going to come because I told him to truck on.
So Jefferson, what?
Keep on trucking. Sorry.
What? When he brought? Do you remember when he brought up evolution, Jefferson? What was your what went through your head when you heard the word evolution come out of his mouth?
No, he kind of stumbled over that and then was like, I wondered if he was going to try to make more of a point out of that, but then he ended up kind of getting into something else. And so I guess, I don't know if he was trying to equate the theory of evolution with the fact that I used the term evolution to show changes in the early church.
Right.
That's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, I just dismissed it from my head because he kind of moved on to emphasize something else in the same statement. And
I mean, how couldn't you realize that's what you meant?
Yeah, that's pretty charitable of you, Jefferson. Because when I was watching that debate, and that's the one thing from the debate that stood out for me was when he just went off on the evolution fucking, and I was like, where in the fuck did that come from?
Yeah, I think he was trying to
it was straight out of left field, and maybe Gavin is smart enough to realize himself how far out of left field that sounded and reel himself back in. And if he did, then kudos to him.
I think he did, because I thought maybe he smelled like some red meat, and he thought I was making the argument. Well, you see here, 33 CE, your average Christian is stooped over, can barely use a tool, and then as the decades proceed, they're walking more upright, they're using fire.
Jesus.
If he was going to try to, hey, that's a straw man fallacy, pal. That's a straw man fallacy.
No. You want to stop being a child, Mr. Spitchcook?
Oh no,
You
you sounded
silly-
too British
you-
right there.
You silly boy.
Your accent's all over the place. I'm not trying
I know.
to
I
make you
can't
feel
do it.
bad.
I can't do a New Zealand accent.
It's close,
I can't
sober.
but it's too British.
That's obvious to everybody right now. Sorry.
Well,
Guys, oh, not you. I'm talking to the side chat. If you want to join, the link is in the description. Just please go over to the description and read the rules of the channel. Get yourself acquainted with it if you're new here. Thank you.
I've got to
Go on,
I
guys.
don't know if it. Sorry, Tag. I didn't mean to step on what you're saying, but
You're good.
one thing I got to say, this is an observation that just occurred to me. There's one thing I appreciate about Jesus as Lord, and that is in comments and streams like yours, he thoroughly enjoys himself. He is just making himself laugh left and right. I mean,
Yep.
I mean, it's like he's at the comedy club, but he's just with himself. It's. I think that's kind of encouraging. That's a person who can really survive this self-isolation.
Well, that's what happens. That's what happens when
coming
you think.
from.
That's what happens when you glue your hands to the desk to keep from whacking off.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be laughing;
That's
you'd be crying.
But you never know. He might be into that shit.
Ooh. Okay, That's getting a little too. We're going from PG-13 to R. We're starting to get into that sodomy talk. You're going to scare Jill right out of the top, Jeff.
No, it's not necessarily sodomy. Foreplay.
Anything that anything that's not about getting a baby is sodomy.
Ooh, excuse me. I'm having Henry's hard soda made with cane sugar, contains alcohol, and it's not bad.
I think I've had those. I've had those before.
Is it a cola or is it just like?
It's
it's a
Winhard Brewing Company, 4.2 alcohol.
My mic working?
12 fluid ounce.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's working.
We can hear you, DT.
I prefer those. I prefer those colas without the alcohol. They have the other stuff.
There's 2 Doubting Thomases.
There's actually a.
I thought I got kicked out, or I thought
There's 2.
Isn't there a doubting? Wait, how did you emerge twice? You got it like your phone.
Oh,
and
he's
your
God.
laptop or something?
He yeeted the other one into
powerful.
oblivion.
He's too powerful.
Guys, like an internet
I like
ninja
that.
now.
I like
He's
Spartan
multiplying.
Theology's. I actually like Spartan Theology's question. That was pretty. That's pretty on the. That's pretty good. Asking about what do you think? How do you think this would affect Christianity if it's not written by Paul?
And actually, he worded that better than I did because I tried to go a longer route, and that's why I asked him like, what do you think if you were to let's just consider that I'm right and modern scholars, the consensus on this is right, and that Paul didn't write these. What do you think that does to the possibility that God is real or isn't? Like, what does that do for you? And he just he didn't want to touch that. I should have worded it the way that Spartan Theology did, because that's kind of where I was going with that. Like, what do you think would be the implications of this had it moved forward? And I don't know if any of you guys noticed, but I did ask him that at the end, because I'm pretty sure he said during the debate, well, if the church fathers realized it wasn't from Paul, they would have ascribed it to the actual author.
Well, Chuck, the problem is the inerrancy. If you're biblical inerrantist, that's the problem.
I don't know.
Remember, yes, he's following along. I don't know if he is claimed to be so, but it seems like he's following along the same lines as like Jill and Praise, where they believe that the Bible is inerrant.
Gavin would have to get. He'd have to phone a friend to find out what inerrant meant, though.
I was surprised at the end when somebody asked him about do you think there's evidence of other pseudepigrapha in the
Benghazi. That was Benghazi.
Canon, and he didn't know what it was. I'm like, I've been talking about pseudepigrapha and pseudepigraphal writings my entire statement, and just you're like, I'd like a definition of that. I'm like, what?
And once again, you were very charitable to him there too, Jeff.
I could have stomped him.
You could have mentally thumped him for that one.
Well, guys, let's not forget the fact that he, for the first at least 5 minutes, he accused Jeff of eating up his time because that fucking idiot thought that they were in a cross-examination section.
No, actually, no, he didn't. He wasn't fast enough on his feet, so there was a little bit of confusion there. So this did happen. So when we ironed out the rules of the debate, we had kind of settled on this was sort of in a final email from Richard. We'd had a little bit of back and forth where Gavin and I decided that we weren't going to do right. We weren't going to waste our time with it. We were each going to do 10-minute opening statements and then go right into open discussion and then go into questions. That's what we decided. And then over time, I don't know where the wind's coming from.
That's me.
Oh.
Is that you got all the wind, Jay?
Yeah, because I'm outside.
Yeah.
Do you paint with all the colors of the wind?
Pocahontas is raccoons.
Can you mute for a bit?
Do you blow? Do you blow like the wind?
So anyway,
like a leaf on the wind. Like a leaf on the wind.
So anyway, so we had settled on, okay, we're just not going to do the rebuttals. But then like one of the final emails that we got from Richard was like, okay, I think I've got this. So you guys are both doing 10-minute openings. Gavin's going first. There's going to be an opportunity for each of you to do 5-minute rebuttals, and then it's into open discussions and then on to questions. And so I didn't really correct him on it. I was like, okay, well, maybe we're doing 5-minute rebuttals. It makes no difference to me. So I didn't correct it. So when we got into it and started up, we settled the order, who was going first this morning. And so we get in there, we start doing our stuff. And then Richard doesn't, after I did my opening statement, he doesn't say, okay, Gavin, it's now time for your 5-minute rebuttal. He's just like, okay, it's open discussion time. So I'm like, okay, I guess we're not doing rebuttals afterward. But then as we got into it, Gavin just helped himself and starts drilling me with questions, which is not the point of a rebuttal. That's the cross-examination. So he kind of got that wrong. It's like, no, you're not. If you're going to give a rebuttal, you'd give a speech. He just immediately starts asking me questions. And when I go you're eating into my time. Like, this is an open discussion, dude. This isn't even the two things you might have thought it was. Like it's not.
He was hardcore, just going at you with the questions, just back and forth.
And to be fair, I should bring up the fact that he was having an audio mic issue at that point. I don't know if he could hear or not, but he was having mic issues at the time that that Richard basically said, "Yeah, now we're going to go into the open discussion part of it."
Well, yeah. In that case, yeah. Then yeah, that's possible.
But either way, though, if he thought it was originally going to be a rebuttal portion, like you said, he still got that wrong.
Yeah, he didn't start going into, hey, so Spatchcock said this is why it's wrong. He said this, that's why it's wrong. He didn't go into a 5-minute little, a little jag, he just starts immediately like cross-examining me. Like, we didn't agree to a cross-examination thing. So
Jeff,
why
the whole open discussion was a cross-examination.
I know.
Your open discussion was a cross-examination from him.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't get a chance to cross-examine him. You were answering his question.
I got a chance to ask him questions, but his usual answer was no.
Yeah, well, no, but there were follow-up questions to what he had already asked.
Look it up, Jefferson. Look it up.
Oh, God, you scared the shit out of me, Red Fang.
Go to Wikipedia and look it up.
Fuck, that scared me.
Red Fang's New Zealand accent has a little taste of the islands to it, so.
Jay, weren't you saying you went to Wikipedia and said that it doesn't say what Gavin was claiming it said?
No, when Gavin cites Wikipedia, he has everybody, he wants the right side, whatever that means, anybody who's not an atheist or he perceives as a douche, to look up First Corinthians chapter 15 verses 3 through 8 on Wikipedia. Jeff looks that up and it doesn't work. And then he doesn't agree with the times of the Gospels being completed. And he's saying, no, that's not even the consensus. But if you go to Wikipedia and if you look up or just Google when were the Gospels written, and you go to Wikipedia, the dates given in Wikipedia agree with Jeff's dates, not with his.
Right. That's what I meant. That's what I was asking.
Yeah. Okay. Gavin
one of the Christians said they couldn't find it.
Dun dun dun.
What?
Couldn't find the reference, or they can't find
They couldn't find the reference that Gavin brought up.
Was talking about.
No, yeah, because he told me to specifically look up those verses. So when I ran the search, it just gives you Bible Gateway because you're putting an exact chapter and a verse range. So I decided, I'm like, all right. So I put in Wikipedia along with it. So let's find the hits that Wikipedia gives me, and it just gives me 1 Corinthians 15. Sure enough, I pull it up, and it's got stuff in there about the dating of certain verses and stuff. But the very top part of it is like, this article cites references that are not scholarly. They're clearly biased. They're from a theologian, whatever. That's what I started reading to him. He's like, we're not going to play these semantic games.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, we are going to play those. That's not a semantic game. It's a fucking warning on the Wikipedia entry for 1 Corinthians 15 that's saying it's biased as shit. So, no, I Googled what you told me to, and this is what I found. And what I found looks like horse shit. So send me another reference. My favorite part was asking him point to the citation that you have in your list that backs up the claim you just made. And he's like, well, just read them. And I'm like, and then when somebody asked later on, Gavin, have you read all the citations that you've put in there? No, I haven't. I haven't.
Oh my gosh.
The description, Jill. The description.
That is funny. He's right.
Link is in the description.
I'm going to stream hop and
Later, Lex Luthor, Wiley.
Are we bringing in? Are we bringing in my favorite? Are we bringing in my favorite YouTuber?
The
one I-
Who's
the
that,
one I-
Jill?
Joker to
the
your
one I-
Batman,
the
or
one I
Batman
adhere
your
to-
Joker.
Yeah, the one I adhere to when he says don't subscribe. So I just don't subscribe.
What
I
about
kind of love that you guys just
Defender.
openly don't speak about, but you guys know
Kryptonite.
inside.
why don't we bring in,
No,
bring
but
in Math Pig? Let's bring
Sorry.
in Math
well, here's
Pig.
the thing. I want somebody to do a collage. I want somebody to do a collage for me of like someone like Jill, whatever you could use for Jill to represent Jill, and he's standing at the bottom of a tower, and at the top of the tower, wearing the princess cap, and there's Jill defending Gavin's honor.
I'm trying to
That takes a little bit, but
I'm trying to picture Gavin in a medieval princess cap. So
That's a great,
Gavin in drag.
great
Just-
meme.
Yep.
To Mathpig's point, Jill, it's even scrolling across the bottom of the screen where the link is.
Yeah. Link in description. Room for 10.
Somebody didn't. He just didn't have his coffee this morning. That's all, folks. He just hasn't
Or he
had his
didn't
coffee.
see it when I posted
It
it.
happens.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I just posted it.
what is it that why is Tog the only theist that I know so far, other than with maybe like Megan Lewis, that doesn't react to atheists like we're kryptonite? Like
Because we're nice to talk.
No, it has nothing to do with that. It's because I'm not.
Hey, I'm
don't-
pretty nice to most of them, man. Most of the
I
time.
know. I was making a joke.
I know.
I'm also nice to all of them, but they hate me. So
I tried to them, but then they lied to my face.
Jesus
Hey, can
Christ!
you
I'm
mute that?
fucking
Mute
A.
your mic.
Can you fucking mute your fucking mic?
God,
Sorry.
That sounds like
Sorry,
wherever
Jesus.
he's at, it's gonna get torn off the ground like ice.
Matt Bond, I
It's
presume.
the Bond.
Bad.
I hope so. I didn't actually. I just saw the Bond and I
Man.
added it in.
It's me.
That's
Okay,
what
cool.
you should call him. Spatchcock, say Bond.
Bad.
That looks so cool.
Oh yeah,
with your
definitely.
icon.
What Mad Pig said, Spartan theology is pretty cool too. He did a live stream earlier today. I haven't hung out with him in a bit.
I'm waiting for. I can't wait for it to actually load up so I can watch because he came in kind of towards the end, and I want to read more of his comments. I'd kind of like to have a conversation with him about some church doctrine stuff and church history stuff.
Who's that? Jill?
No, Spartan theology. I heard about him through
Oh.
Math Pig, and he seems to know his shit. So sounds like a younger guy, does a lot of different kinds of readings and stuff.
I'm pretty sure he knows what he eats. If he's the only one feeding himself.
Wait, did I say know what he eats? Is that how that came through?
Because you said he knows his shit. I said I'm pretty sure he knows what he eats.
Huh. Right on. All right.
Well, what I shit looks nothing like what I eat, unless it's chili.
Sometimes it's the things from the day before. Oh,
I don't remember eating corn.
yeah. Shit.
Sometimes when we touch. Halcyonic Caillou. Caillou.
Jefferson,
Caju. Sorry,
did you
go
bring
ahead.
the scotch? Did you bring the scotch?
No, actually, I don't have any scotch. I have a little bit of vodka, and I have some Irish whiskey. Right now, I'm just drinking a little bit of vodka.
I am drinking the Henrys. So, salud.
Skull.
You want to know what I
said that
got?
right.
I didn't say it right. How about slancha?
Too much time on your hands. Too much.
Too much time on my hands.
Sorry. What do you got?
I got 5 different kinds of weed.
Oh shit.
Uniquely American.
Oh yeah. Well, I have the Holy Grail of weed.
What's that?
That's legit. The name of the weed is the Holy Grail. So
Oh.
let's beat that.
That seems
got-
a bit. I don't know. That seems a bit ostentatious for a name for weed.
I got OG Chem.
does it feel like you're going to heaven?
Something called the White
Something
Turple.
like that.
Turple?
Yeah, Turple. Gelato 45.
Don't forget, my God,
And
oh my God, this is permanent.
Ice cream cake.
Gorilla panic. I will start smoking on the regular when they come out with a strain called Cure for Cancer.
Oh, right on. They're working on it, man.
I know. So do you guys have anything? Do you have any criticisms?
Well,
You should have went harder on him.
I was just going to say that. That's my only criticism. Other than that, you already pretty well.
I thought I was actually getting a little too close to making it too personal when I was like criticizing like his reactions. I asked him, why did you invite me to this discussion if you're going to behave like this and get this worked up? Like, if you're going to get this bent out of shape, why would you even invite me to have a discussion with you?
Right. And then he says it was a waste of his time. And
that was like, I felt like that was really. Go ahead, DT. You say it first. You brought it up.
Yeah. When he said that, I was just like, then what the fuck are you doing, Gavin? You just did this last weekend with his twin fucking brother. You know what I mean? And, if you think this is a waste of your time, then who's the fucking idiot? And you're the one who wants these fucking debates to happen.
Yeah.
Nobody came to you and said, hey, Gavin, oh, God, would you please fucking debate me? No. Gavin went around and fucking said, you don't have any fucking balls to debate me or blah, 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 or what the fuck ever. So fuck him.
And plus
that I think about it, fuck him.
That it was like a waste of time. And like, so I'm sitting there thinking, so your audience member, people who are coming in to support you, and not only Richard, who was gracious enough to host this thing, are just a waste of time to you. So I'm like, that's real nice, you know? And I was like, wow.
I don't think that shit's cool. I think that is a good point. That's why I tried to.
I know he didn't probably mean that, but still, it's implied that, you know.
Right, it is implied. It's a selfish fucking statement.
Well, because he's up.
Welcome, Fifth Trumpet.
He's up his own ass. You know, he's feeding his feelings, and he's all about, this is how I feel about stuff. Like, dude, you demanded that I have a conversation with you. You asked me at least twice to have a debate. I told you multiple times yes. You then accused me prematurely of chickening out. You were convinced I wasn't going to go, and then
after you said yes.
Yeah, and then I asked him multiple times, do you need me to reach out to other people in case whoever you're reaching out to isn't capable of doing it? He ignored me. Next thing I know, I'm getting emails from Richard, and Richard's been roped into it, and I'm kind of like, damn, Richard, I feel a little bit bad about this because I know this isn't your thing. And then he's just like, no, if I didn't want to do it, I'd tell you. I'm like, all right, cool. So
yeah, Richard did good. While it's right on my mind, Richard did good, man. I think.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. So, and you know, especially
I think I would have liked to seen. Well, I think I would have liked to seen Richard kind of like push Gavin since he was in. It's kind of step in the point where but the citation thing, which he seemed like there was more being demanded of Jeff, and whenever Jeff asked him for something like again going back to those citations, all of a sudden that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Now all of a sudden Jeff is blocking, Jeff is strawmanning, he's moving the goalpost. He's committing whatever fallacy that can come to Gavin's mind, and yet those are his citations for this debate.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing and am I saying Richard did a bad job? No, I think he did an excellent job. But just as like a point is, I would have just pressed that and said, hey, Gavin, you're the one that cited these. So, and he's asking you a straightforward question. This nonsense of you just gish galloping fallacies at everybody isn't going to work when you're asked a clarifying question. And somebody, please, for the love of fuck, explain to these motherfuckers that asking a question is not a fucking straw man.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Jesus fucking wept. If you ask for clarifying information by asking a question that is not a straw man argument or a straw man fallacy, you fucking ignorant cunts. Sorry.
Duly noted.
I asked Richard to ask that question if Gavin knew what a straw man was, and
I appreciated that.
He didn't ask him that.
Did you want to say something?
No, he did ask him.
Oh, did he? Oh,
Yeah, he did ask
Hold
him.
up, hold up, hold up,
hold
guys, hold up. I
Oh.
asked if the fifth trumpet wanted to ask something.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I didn't see the debate. I saw parts of it. But I was wondering, like, did the first verse of First Timothy come up where it says Paul is writing to Timothy? Did that ever come up?
Indirectly.
Not. Oh.
Indirectly, Gavin pointed out, I think, on 2 separate occasions, that there is an opening in which but that's the point. That's the whole point. If there wasn't one of those, it wouldn't be attributed to him. Like Hebrews. People used to think Hebrews was the 14th epistle, but at no point does it have an opening in which it's being attributed to any named author. So the author's anonymous. It's just that people thought, the Hebrews probably was written by Paul. Turns out a lot of scholars now don't think that it was, and since it's not attributed to him, it's no longer considered like a Pauline epistle. But in the case of, First and Second Timothy and Titus, yeah, obviously they have an opening in which it declares, "Hey, I'm Paul, and I'm writing this to you." That's why. But part of the way those are written actually provides evidence for why they may not actually be Paul. Mostly because the way they occur in First and Second Timothy, they're really similar to each other, which makes most scholars think that First and Second Timothy are written by the same guy. And also, they're not written by Paul because Paul's previous greetings in his other letters aren't written that way.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I try not to debate because no matter what I say, it's like, it just doesn't come through, and then they always have a rebuttal, and it just seems to go nowhere. So that's why I don't really debate people. But anyway,
I don't think it's bad. I mean, I actually took MathPig's advice on this particular thing because he'd asked me in a video that I did with him a few weeks ago, and he was like, "Why are you talking to some of these guys on here? Because they're kind of notoriously trolly, and you keep engaging with them for whatever reason." He's like, "You might have some pretty interesting things to share, but we're not really hearing it because when you do actually do something on YouTube, it's to do something with these guys." And so when Gavin asked me to do this, and I said sure, I was like, all right, maybe this is an opportunity I can present in full or almost in full what I've learned about this particular topic in a debate, and maybe especially if I'm including citations, maybe that'll kind of encourage people to kind of look into it too if they're curious. And that was my only reason for it. I didn't go into the debate because I needed to win. I didn't go into it because I needed to prove Gavin wrong. I didn't need to own him or destroy him or any of that kind of stuff. All I wanted to do was present my case, my information, put it out there, and then answer his questions as best I could based on my level. We are both lay persons, even though he wanted to ask me a question that would put me, if I successfully answered it, might have put me in the category of being an expert, which was insane. That was all I wanted to do.
So yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Was like, that list the 12 things that scholars look for.
Mm-hmm. I just asked him. I'm like, "Are you a scholar?" No. And I'm like, "Okay, so if you Googled like this, these are the 19 things that a plumber needs to know. Tell me them right now, dumb fuck. Like, are you a plumber? No.
Well, you know what?
Get out of here. I don't need to prove myself to you."
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I will say this. I mean, it's funny this comes up because this is recent information. I mean, you may think what I'm going to say is biased or skewed or whatever, but I mean, just because they're a scholar doesn't always mean they have good information. Because I've seen a lot of bad information come from people who are the scholars that people look to, big names. And I'm looking at them and I'm thinking, you know what? It's just not real. It's fake.
Are you saying that because they disagree to your view of the Bible?
Red Fang, I said before I said that, you're probably going to think I'm saying this because I'm skewed or I'm biased. No, I'm telling you the truth. From what I know biblically, compared to what they're saying biblically, they're not saying real things, to my opinion.
Yeah, to answer that, I would point this out because I tried to emphasize this with Gavin, and I think it was lost on him. One of the sources that I cited for a reason was the 2020 edition of An Introduction to New Testament History, which unfortunately for a lot of Christians is by Bart Ehrman and other contributors. With a textbook like that, you have lots of different contributions coming in from lots of different scholars and lots of different professors, and most of them are evaluating a lot of their own information. So what they end up doing for classes like that, because those are generally kind of a survey style class, the information that's being presented is being vetted at a very general level. So if I'm presenting dates like Mark was written in 70 CE, that's the consensus view. I'm not citing some fringe scholar. I'm not, and at one point Gavin started to do that. Like, some of these people sound fringy. Well, I'm sorry if they do, but they're not. If I cited some fringe scholar, now if you cite somebody from 1948 that says that Mark was written 2 years after the crucifixion of Jesus, that's fringe. I'm sorry if that offends you, but that is fringe as hell. No one's dated a document that talks about the crucifixion of Jesus, or claims to be a gospel to that date. That's not fake. So, when I'm trying to present that kind of stuff to them, and I get this constant, this sort of pearl clutching reaction from the fundamentalists that, I can't believe you'd even say something like that. I'm like, really? Anybody even people going to relatively conservative Christian colleges, if they're studying these kinds of courses, they probably have a textbook very similar to the one I'm talking about. And they're being exposed to this information. Sabella Shepherd is a great example of that. She's a YouTuber. She's going to Liberty University. One of her majors is religious studies or something like that. Most of the time I bring up any of this stuff, she knows exactly what I'm talking about. She's been exposed to this information at Liberty University, a university founded by Jerry fucking Falwell. And she knows how this stuff works.
Well, yeah, but I would say that the deception is bigger than we all think. And I know that you would say, okay, this guy and this guy and that guy. But what I'm saying is the deception is bigger than we think. Even though otherwise you wouldn't be deceived. If you knew you were deceived, you wouldn't go for it. That's the whole point of being deceived. I'm not saying you are. There is good information and there's bad information, and it is difficult for people to sift through it because, like you say, you've got reputable people saying false things. You've got fringe people saying good things. You've got fringe people saying bad things. You've got reputable people saying half-truth things. So it gets confusing to figure out exactly what is real. That's why I personally stick with the word, because as far as I'm concerned, the word is valid.
Yeah, but hang on. But here's the problem with that, though. If that's the case, if that's your standard, you don't know who wrote most of, quote unquote, the word. It was written by lots of authors and lots of different times.
Jefferson, it's the word of God. I don't care if Chuck E. Cheese wrote it. It doesn't. To me, it doesn't matter. That's why I don't debate.
That is only an assertion that you can only assert that.
So God came down and wrote the book, then went back up to heaven?
The word was God. The word was with God from the beginning. That's a verse.
All right, then answer me this, because this is something. Hang on, I'm not.
That's how I take it. I take that to be valid.
Hey, hang on, Trumpet. I'm not trying to stump you here, but let me ask you this.
Sure.
One of the things that I was trying to lay out while I was having a discussion with Gavin is the notion that, okay, so Jesus is born sometime around 0 CE. He dies around 33 CE. It's not until 70 CE that we get our first gospel, the Gospel of Mark. We don't get the other two, Matthew and Luke, until 85 CE. We don't get John until 95 CE. Right, and those are based on relatively conservative markers, based on lots of different scholars, which include believers. They're like, yep, these are the dates. Based on that dating, chronologically, the first book of the Bible is the letter to First Thessalonians from Paul. So for 40 years, the Christian tradition was an entirely oral tradition for 2 generations. There was no New Testament gospel. The only scripture that they had would have been the Jewish Bible. And so when somebody comes along now as a Christian and says, no, it's the word, it's the inspired word of God. Neat. What was it for those Christians? For 100 years, they didn't have all four gospels until all of the first 3 generations of Christians were dead before the whole set of gospels that we have in our New Testament canon were completed. What do you tell them? How do you tell Christians today? How do you compare them to the Christians back then? They didn't have those gospels. They didn't know that.
Well, I mean, for me, the history, I'm not capable of going back in time and seeing when this book was written or if this person actually existed. So for me, the history is just like a moot point. I don't know anything about the history.
But shouldn't you care about that, given that affects the development of the church?
If you're saying that they didn't have the word for 20 years, I don't see any problem with that word being written later.
No. Closer.
Again,
we have a question in the side chat, and the question is he saying in the beginning there were scrolls with Yahweh? And I think that's directed towards you. Okay.
The straw man.
Am I saying in the beginning there was scrolls with Yahweh? In a sense, because the word was with God. Were there actual scrolls? Probably not.
I would like to make the comment. Go ahead, Fitzroy. I'm sorry. I thought you were done with your point.
No, I don't know. See, this is why I don't like to have these kinds of conversations. I'm just sticking to the verses. You want to talk about the verses, we can talk about the verses. But as far as they didn't do this, and they should have done that, and they could have done this, and it didn't happen then, I can't have those kinds of conversations. I said from the beginning, I don't really like to debate. I mean, I can talk.
So you don't.
Sure.
So what you're saying is you don't like hypotheticals?
You don't like history?
Real quick, it's important though. Like knowing the time and place and author is important in translating the text.
It may be, but I don't do history. As I was saying, I don't have any. I don't have any. I'm not a historian. Put it that way. I don't do history. I don't do science. So
I'm not a historian either, but I'm looking into the works of historians and comparing certain works from others and looking at their dialogue and cross-checking what they do, and this is the kind of information that I'm finding.
Yeah, no, Jefferson, if you want to come to that opinion, that's perfectly fine. I don't mind, but for me, I'm not having a problem with it. I don't have a
hang on
problem
though. That's actually for me. That's not a problem. But if you're saying that as a believer, that's dismissive to a fault, because if some of that stuff actually predicates certain issues about salvation, then for a believer, it's a huge problem, especially if it's becoming an impediment to their faith. Now, for me, yeah, it could just be theoretical. I can just look at it and be like, historically, it is what it is. You know, they did it this way in the 50s, and then by the 2nd century, they were acting this way. And, oh, look, bishops and deacons, and this is how things were going to work. And all of a sudden, we got the sacraments.
I don't know. I kind of lost on what you were talking about.
Look, I'm just saying that it seems dismissive to say, like, you know, you can just dismiss this history stuff as for the birds, but you can't, because this stuff comes up with Christians.
I said I'm not qualified to talk about it. I don't know the history. I don't do history. I can't say anything about it one way or the other.
But you don't need to be qualified as a historian to look into it. You don't.
Your sister.
Yeah, that's true.
What?
I haven't looked into it. I don't do history. So I don't, that's why I say I just stick to the verses.
I think that's what we're trying to point out, right? You're sticking to the verses.
Why are you?
Unless you involve history, right? You don't actually know if the verses you're reading were properly translated. So you actually don't know what they're saying. You're just assuming what they're saying.
I think the manuscripts have been checked out, and the Bibles we have today, the good ones, are very close to the manuscripts, the very first manuscript. So I'm not seeing that as a problem.
Really? Because a lot of Jewish scholars read the part about don't lie with a man like you would a woman. They think that actually means don't have sex with a man in your wife's wedding bed. That's drastically different.
Yeah, I've heard confusion on that, and I haven't followed through that, so I wouldn't know what to say about it.
But there's other things like that, though.
Well,
is that why praise always has to go back to Hebrew and read Hebrew to you guys?
I don't know. I don't read Hebrew. I have no need for it. I just read.
But praise has to fix the words for you in Hebrew.
Where does praise get those phonetic readings of Hebrew?
I don't know.
It's his my
Can I ask a
sword.
question?
Hold up. Welcome, Richard. Thank you for stopping by. If you're welcome, the link's in the description, as you probably can already read, because I forgot it was there.
No, Jefferson, just to clarify what we were talking
Did you hear
about,
me?
I mean, if you want to think that way, that's fine. I'm not saying one way or the other.
No, I get what you're saying, at least towards me. And as far as I'm concerned, as an atheist and a non-believer, it is fine for me. But the problem with this is that if there's historical significance to the way some of these doctrines have been established, and Christians start wrestling with them, and they're wondering like, what is the real importance of this kind of thing?
Yeah.
Then it actually benefits more Christians to know whether or not, what is the historical significance of when these doctrines were established, and what does that mean for new believers?
Well, to what you were saying at the beginning, yeah, there's a lot of bad doctrine out there in the church, with the people, on the internet, everywhere. That's why I started out by saying these videos I was watching today by people who are scholars, it's just bad. It's just bad. So there's a lot of bad work out there. And I agree. People like for whoever, the community, they want to know the truth. And they're not getting a lot of the truth. There's a lot of confusion, misconception. But I don't think you can blame the Bible for that. You can blame other people and other things and people. But the word itself, I would say, is reliable.
Oh, sorry, real quick. Someone has their mic keyed, and it's making it's making it really hard to hear him.
No.
Can we mute please? If you're not talking, please mute.
Now no one's going to talk.
I know. No, let's not all talk at once.
Can I go next?
DT,
Can
yes.
I go next?
Yes, DT, you have the floor because I know you wanted to say something. I was just about ready to say that. Go ahead.
Thanks. I wanted to ask the fifth Trump. He said just a minute ago something about that's what the Bible say. The good ones, at least, was the comment you made, and I'm just curious which Bibles are the quote unquote good ones.
Well, I would say the King James is good. I would say the Holman Christian Standard is good. Those are the two I use. But it's not to say there isn't a word fudged here or there. I mean, there's always going to be a little of that, but those are pretty reliable. And I'm sure there are others, but there are also, even more that get even more confused. But those two are reliable.
What I guess more to the question than what makes it a good Bible?
Just a good translation, but like I said, even the one I use has funky stuff in it. But you just have to know. That's the whole point. Like you say, there's bad doctrine. There's a lot of confusing things. You have to find your way through it at times.
I always say what I did when I first started off is I started off with the EVS because I figured it was simple and it didn't matter which book you read it from. And then the more I got into the Christian community, I learned out that people, they particularly like the King James Version. And so I went with that, and then I learned that most, like some atheists, I think it was your brother Jeff, that said that he used the NIV, and so I used the NIV. And then from then, I heard someone recommend the Geneva, and I've been using the Geneva. So out of all of them, I honestly like the Geneva the most.
If the Bible doesn't have the imprimatur on it, I can't read it.
Yeah, I use the one I use is it's the New Revised Standard Version. It's the New Oxford Annotated Bible, Study Bible.
Does anyone in here that actually uses a Bible, have they actually checked their translation against the Dead Sea Scrolls, being that they're the oldest record of a lot of those books?
They're actually in the Oxford Study Bible. There's actually a section on the Dead Sea Scrolls.
That's great.
Where it invites you to look at hey, here's where stuff was missing, and we just filled in with the King James Version.
Hey, I got a question for you guys. Have you guys ever read the Amplified Bible?
Well, before I answer
really
that,
loud? Oh,
I just wanted to respond to something that Cerebus said. I don't know if you're familiar with the Navarre Bible, but it was actually a retranslation from a lot of the ancient manuscripts undertaken by Blessed Jose Maria Escriva. And it was actually also cross-referenced with a lot of the church fathers. It's an interesting translation, though. I think it's the Revised Standard Catholic Edition is what it leans on, or generally turns into, but it's the footnotes in it are amazing.
Oh yeah, I should take a look at it.
Can you type that out in the chat?
Yeah, I have heard of that one, and I've also heard that it's Catholic as fuck and therefore of the devil.
It's actually funny because they publish it in each book is published as an individual volume that is as long as a regular Bible because there's so much commentary and cross-referencing in there.
Okay, this is one thing I don't
Hey,
get. A lot of
Sarge, can you put it in the private chat for me? The name of it.
a lot of Christians don't think Catholics are Christians, but yet their Bibles are based off their Bible.
Right.
Shh, don't tell him that.
Can I ask Jefferson a question about the debate?
Please.
In there somewhere, you said, at least I think you said that Gavin's sources were from the 40s, like the 1940s. And my question is, were you like researching that on the fly as you were talking?
No, we gave our citations to Richard, and I was kind of surprised because I gave my citations. I think I had 9 or 10 references. That's all I figured that I would need. It's a pretty small topic. And then when I showed up, when I was waiting, Richard had built it out, and he was like, "Yeah, send me your citations. I'll include them in the video description." And so he had mine in there, and then he had Gavin's in there. I think Gavin's are on top. Gavin's are extensive. They're like, I think there's like 16 or 18 different, citations in there. But I'm looking at some of them, and they're like 1986, 1948, 1968, 1974, 1972. I'm like, where the hell are these quotations coming from? And
never underestimate the power of praise as autism.
Yeah, and I kind of, at that point, I sort of started getting into the idea. I'm like, I think I'm going to be debating Gavin's voice, but I think a lot of the background for it is coming from one way and praise. So, and those old ass references didn't really help me any, and that's why I asked him. He started like pressing me on this thing, like, I got this claim, and I was like, okay, you got this claim. What citation have you cited in all the citations that you've got in that list? Which one backs up this claim? And he's like, well, just read through them. I'm like, read through them.
Right? Yeah. I mean, come on, man. That was so. That was so fucking.
If he asked, because when he asked me, like, what citation do you have for the dating of the Gospels? Like, well, Forged by Bart Ehrman, that introduction to New Testament history by Bart Ehrman, Francis Collins' commentary on 1st and 2nd Timothy, which also acknowledges the dates of the Gospels. I mean, it just goes on, and I'm just like, I can't sum them up because almost all of them acknowledge this kind of basic information. So. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
Hello, Arafel.
There's something else you did well, Jeff. I think is you didn't react too harshly. You didn't really react at all to Gavin's not knowing what pseudepigraphal meant.
That was hilarious.
And if I was in your shoes, as I'm watching this, if I was in your shoes, I could see myself trying. As soon as he was struggling with that, I could see myself or you trying to help him out. Like, no, Gavin, that's not what pseudepigraphal means. And I think that probably went through your mind. Did that go through your mind? And then did you stop yourself and just say, no, I'm just going to let him go?
I'm not gonna lie. I smelled blood in the water, but I refrained. I was like, "No, let's just wait."
That's huge, man. That's huge. That is the sorry, Jim. Just one more second. That is a pretty seasoned move, Spatchcock. The way you handled that, because it was the other way you would have looked emotional or whatever.
Yeah, as soon as he started doing that, I was like, oh, here we go. And he was being amateur as shit, and I was just like, all right, I'm gonna let him gut this out with Richard and figure this out. And even Richard was like, I'm uncomfortable talking about this, like, because Richard was like, would you want to have a commentary with me about like what the definition of this is? Like, I'm the moderator.
I know, and Richard was, and I'm sure right there, I'm going through Richard's mind. I got to talk to him. He was thinking, well, I'm not going to give him the definition if he doesn't know it, and he's not asking. I'm not going to throw him. That was a good move on Richard's part.
Yeah.
Not throw him a life ring or whatever. Just move on. Go back to you guys. Richard just basically stepped out, and that was cool.
Why give him a rope when he basically brought his own and then tied a noose?
Yeah.
That was a pretty top shelf move. But an even better top shelf move would have been, as soon as he did that, to take out a machete, wave it around, and then start hacking up his desk when he refutes you.
That's what Joe would have wanted me to do. It'd have been like, look at this crazy atheist brandishing.
Oh yeah.
I just got to make one point, if you guys don't mind. There's an excellent Bible called the Companion Bible by E.W. Bollinger with its appendix. It's from 1909. It's excellent. Far, much better than your average Bible today with all its appendices. Yeah.
Does it have all the books, or is it missing the ones that Martin Luther cut out?
No, it's your average Bible. The point is, it's from 1909. And so to say that it's just because it's old, it's bad, to me, that's not going to add up. And then as far as a pseudepigraphal book, there actually is one. I would say the Book of Esther is not exactly what it claims to be.
No, Fifth Trumpet taking a stand there. That is a bold one.
Oh yeah, but you don't understand the Book of Esther. It gets pretty deep.
No, I've heard that before. That's come up before. But there are other people that are like, no, it's in the Bible and therefore it's canon. And there are other people that are like, it's
if it's any deeper than real shallow, Jefferson's not going to be able to understand it anyway.
I don't know what you meant there.
Adam,
I actually am a bit hesitant to say the Catholic canon is incorrect, and here's why.
Snap!
And here's why. Because
say it out loud.
If the Catholic canon is incorrect, that means Jesus is not faithful to his church. Ergo, the church has been believing in things for a long time that were incorrect. And that would contradict scripture. So we have a problem here. We do have a problem.
Indeed.
Well, why do we have a problem?
It's a problem with the Protestant Bible. There's a problem with the Protestant canon. It's actually a pretty big problem when you consider the historicity of the text. And if Jesus exists, which I believe he exists, and every Christian should believe he exists, according to the Bible, Jesus is a faithful God. Here's the problem. Does a faithful God allow his church to believe things that are untrue about him? No. So why? The majority of the early church were through their canonical texts accepted. Because if they are not inspired by God, we have a problem with the canon. And that problem would reflect that on God.
What do you guys say about that, Slim?
That might be the smartest thing I've ever heard you say.
I would ask, how would it be a problem with God?
It would mean that God is unfaithful.
How he allowed it to happen.
Within what context?
So, Arafel, let me just make sure I'm understanding what you're saying correctly. Because I think I like what you're saying, but I want to make sure I'm picking up what you're laying down. Is that okay?
Okay.
So your point is then that if the Deuterocanonicals, commonly known within Protestant circles as the Apocrypha, is in fact not part of the canon, then Jesus' promise to the apostles that the gates of hell would not prevail against his church is broken or false, correct?
Yes, and that's
That's
a
what
big
you're saying?
problem. Yes, and that's a problem, a big problem, theologically speaking. Whether these books are inspired to the point of which they are needed or not is irrelevant. The fact they are inspired at all would have to be a fact. Otherwise, it's a problem for the church. Whether they are actually important for people to be saved, now that's a different story.
Well, I think the problem goes even further than that too. Is that at the time the canon was decided, that would mean that the church had already lost the hand of God and his guidance.
Yes, you're right. You're right about that. However, there's a interesting thing to be noted here. There are the people who removed these books in the first place, yeah, I think they have a big problem on their hands. Thankfully for all the people that don't believe in the Deuterocanonical text today, I don't think it's a salvific problem that they don't believe in it. I think the problem is for the people who decided it was a good idea to reject these books in the first place. Those people will have to answer to God for that. Also, another thing, all these King James onlyist people really piss me off because the 1611 version of King James Version
is trash.
The 1611 King James Version has the Apocrypha in it. So the King James onlyists that are Protestants, I'm like, here's my King James version. My King James Version. Here you go. See, there's something here that your version removed.
We have a question from the side chat to you, Abel. What is this, Abel Addison? Is this the opposite of the Eutho-Profo dilemma? Sorry, I can't pronounce that. Of course, God allows evil and misunderstandings. Hidden manna, meat of the word, just plain wrong, brother.
Yeah, I get what he's saying. He allows these things. But the primary church.
Okay, we have information that Carnivorous Ape just gave. Sorry to interrupt and overtalk you, Abel. My mistake again. I apologize. Good news, everyone. Trump has finally got tired of Congress screwing around and is studying executive orders to get the same list passed.
He's that desperate for votes.
Oh, he so wants votes.
He moved them votes.
Politics is tired we have to go down.
I promise I won't let my parents die in Florida if you just vote for me, for the love of God.
Okay, wait 1 second. Like, see, the president doesn't actually have the power to pass law with executive order.
I mean,
he doesn't have the law to give money to the people. That has to go through the House.
Yeah, I mean, said how stimulating. I like that.
He might pass executive orders, but it won't do that by itself.
It won't.
To hell with constitutionalism and federalism, right?
Well, no, the people. I mean, it's fake news essentially. The people that believe it don't understand how the government works.
No, I know. I just like I say, to hell with federalism and constitutionalism, right? Like if you really want to believe that, like you obviously need remedial civics courses.
I think,
among other things.
I think that the Constitution. I think that the Constitution is an inherently failed document, and I think that the idea of 50 states is an inherently stupid idea. But come at me.
Oh no, I think there are better ways to do it. Like I think the idea of a president's retarded.
I have a question real quick.
Show what Jill
Ask.
said
I'm
in
sorry.
live
I'm
chat.
sorry, Josh.
Show what Jill said in live chat. Jill said
which one?
something that is so weird.
Which
Which
one?
one?
The Great White Hope or
Yes.
Greatest
the?
person for a lifetime fighting for the.
No, the other one.
Uncle
Red
Ruckus.
Fang. Red Fang. Red Fang.
I
Why
did
not
show
just
that
have
one
Smooth
actually.
Brain come on in here and he can say it to all of us?
No,
I
wait.
think
This
he's
might.
still at work.
This
Or
might.
is he
But
going to
DT
be a
had a
coward and
question.
hide out in the
Go
live
ahead.
chat?
Hold
Can
up,
you
DT
hear?
had a question.
Can you
Go
hear me?
ahead, DT. Yes.
Jill in the outside chat wrote, "The Jews never accepted," and if anybody can tell me what that next word is, there, the
Apocrypha, I think he's what he meant.
apocrypha as sacred scripture. Won't it, however, shake my head? Is that a made up word or is that really a word there?
His phone must not have spell check.
He spelled it wrong.
Did he mean
He spelled it
apocrypha?
wrong.
Maybe.
Yes,
Yes,
he meant
actually,
apocrypha. That's what he meant. But actually, he's incorrect about that.
And
The
this is
Jews
coming from the
of
guy that
Hold
says
up.
he's a school
Over
teacher.
talk. Red finger over talking. Hold up. Let
Sorry.
Abel speak.
Smooth Brain
the
knows
Jews
that
of
those were in the.
Qumran actually did believe in the apocrypha.
Sarge, hold up.
Everybody, shut your mouth.
Go ahead, Arafel. You have the floor.
The Jews of Qumran actually did believe in the apocrypha. So to say that no Jews believed in the apocrypha is a lie straight from the pit of hell. I'm sorry. That's a big lie.
Yeah.
The Orthodox
Arafel?
Jew.
Are you saying that Jesus is Lord is repeating a lie straight from hell?
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Holy cow!
And I would
Good
also
sir,
like
that
to
is an
interject-
accusation. Good sir.
I would also
Smooth-
interject right here is that
Accuser.
it existed
Okay.
before
Okay.
Christ as well.
I would be
Oh, wait,
very
hold up.
appreciative.
I was gonna say who had the next question. So go ahead. I think that was
Sir.
Cerberus. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's not a question. I was going to say I would really appreciate it. I find it very offensive that you're all dead naming Uncle Ruckus. His name is Uncle Ruckus, not Jill.
I like
Oh,
calling him
hold
Smooth
up
Brain.
now.
Sorry,
Hold
sir.
up now. Hold
Sorry.
up, sir. Yeah, I'd have to say since Jill doesn't like him, he isn't like I would expend him that courtesy and just call him Jill.
Sorry.
Outside the side
I
chat, you
forgot
can.
to call him Uncle Ruckus. Uncle Ruckus, the fake teacher that doesn't know how to spell things.
Actually, hang
I'm
on,
sorry. I'm
sir.
sorry.
If you're gonna refer to, you need to tell him. You need to refer to him the way that he spells it, Uncle Rutkus.
Oh God.
There you go.
I just
If you say
wanted to
Uncle
point out.
Rutkus, that's approved by Jill. We've seen it.
I just wanted to point out that, old Smooth Brain does know that the Deuterocanonicals were in the Septuagint, right?
And a Dead Sea
And
He doesn't know
And
what
it's Samaritan.
It's a Greek.
Oh, I'm sorry to break
It's a
his
Greek
brain with multisyllabic words.
All right, go ahead, Abel.
Yes, and the Septuagint was a Greek translation made by rabbis, Jewish rabbis. It wasn't invented by Christians, which now there are some Jewish rabbis trying to deny the fact that it's a Jewish text and trying to say that it was made up later by Christians. Bull crap. I'm sick of that bull crap.
They call
ahead,
it the
GP.
They call it the Septuagint.
Jill said a living contradiction right into
Hold up,
July.
Wiley. Hold up.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Wait. Go ahead. Go ahead, DP.
Septuagint because it was written in September.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Wiley.
Jill said something that's straight up contradiction in the chat. The Jews had it in their canon, yet it's not scripture.
That's kind of the point, like what I was trying to make when Arafel said like it's a problem for God, like a problem for God. I'm like, because you still have Judaism ultimately, so like that's why I was going with that.
I know about.
Not a problem for my God.
Go ahead and ask a question to Wiley.
Hey Wiley, what is your opinion about the Apocrypha? How would you take it to be?
Who's asking this?
Totally valid or not?
Fifth Trumpet's asking.
Yeah, I'm asking Wiley. What is your
BC
opinion?
Old Testament Apocrypha, I trust.
Yeah, I'm the same way, to be honest.
There are some books that I trust, that I know for a fact no modern Christian would trust. For example, the Gospel of Nicodemus.
Well, you know one. You know
So
me,
they,
Arafel.
Oh yeah, there's
Or
two. I'm
dang it,
sorry.
Abel.
I forgot about Tog, but I read mainstream first.
Yeah.
Me and you are both not mainstream.
Oh, hey, can I go?
Yes.
Okay, Jesus as Lord says they had it in the canon, Abel, but not sacred scripture. And I want to know if did they even have canons back then? That old?
Well, actually, they did have a canon, but it's actually much more complicated.
No, Jill, hold on, Arafel. Just so you know where I'm going with this. Jill is talking about a canon, Cannon. He's not talking about a canon like a group of texts.
I think we're being too mean now.
I think he's misspelling words. I'm sorry.
Hey, this is important.
During that time period, they would have had catapults.
What I'm going to say right now is important, and here's why I think it's important. Because if Jill's going to be teaching kids in this country, he should know how to spell. And if he can't fucking spell,
that is a fair point.
Then I'll try and help him. I'll try and help him along.
I would like to say one thing. Someone was trying to join backstage. I don't know who it was. I sorted out that issue, so if whoever was trying to get it, oh, there they are, and it was Jay.
Jay,
what's up, Bluebird?
Yep, I had to charge my phone.
So that's all, Jill. Yeah, you might want to say I'm picking on you or whatever, but if you claim to be a teacher of kids, you should learn how to spell, and there's a difference between canon and canon.
Well, not only that, but most states require, especially the states he claims to have resided in, New York and Pennsylvania, for any teacher with any kind of tenure, they require at least them to be taking master's courses. And one cannot get a master's degree with the poor command of the English language with which Professor Smoothbrain has.
Well, wait, I thought he had a master's thesis.
He claims he does.
I was also going to say,
anyway,
this is the reason why I agree with the statement.
I get that we're picking on him right now, but some of the things he's saying right now just, it's fun. But not the spelling errors aside, the things he's saying, even if I correct them, it's still funny. First off, there are tiers of inspiration within. The early church did not believe in as strict of a canon as we have today. There were some different denominations within the early church believed in tiers of inspiration. The books that everyone accepts are the highest tier of inspired books, but there are some books with less degrees of inspiration, which is basically where the canonical texts fit in, and then the Book of Enoch and other texts would fit into the lower tiers. Interestingly, while that is the case, it's interesting to note that they were all seen as sacred in the sense that they all had some level of divine inspiration, but not all of them were seen as good to get doctrine from, but good for just understanding the cultural views of the time these things were written, which is important to note because one who does not understand history is doomed to the downfall of
that's human, but that's human nature, man.
Yes, and you know what? God knows it. God knows it. That's why some of these books were accepted by the early church because they knew it. God knows it. Everyone should know it.
Prime example, the way America handled the Spanish flu influenza in 1918 and 1920 and the way they're handling COVID-19 now.
Yeah.
I would like to ask.
Actually wanted to say something a minute ago. Sorry.
I got a question.
What I was going to say a minute ago is that this is why I agree with the statement that sola scriptura can be dangerous.
There's an article to back that up too.
Go ahead, DT.
I have an article.
Oh, go ahead,
I forgot to send to my brother. Oh, I was just adding on that I actually found an article in Bible.org that where the author of the article basically makes an argument for what he was just saying. That sola scriptura is dangerous.
I don't know. I think what Adamson said applies to, like, say, the Apocrypha, like what you were saying. It's not completely scripture, but it is good to know, just sort of a...
Yeah, I don't disagree with that either. Yeah, what he's saying makes it, that's coherent. You're getting it for reference of the time of what they, basically as a cultural reference for the time.
I will say this for the whole side chat and the panel. I'm waiting on Din Din to finish up. I don't know when it's going to be done. It could be done at any moment or in half an hour. I don't know when. But most likely at that time I will end it, this live stream, just to let people know. If anyone else wants to host and carry on the conversation, they're more than welcome, and I'll wait as long until someone sets that up. But as for right now, we're still good.
I vote for Jim. No, I'm just kidding, Jim. I know you're trying.
Let's say, man, I'm almost back out at my field site. I can't host anything else.
I could host one.
Well, we could just listen to gunfire while we're talking.
Well, we're not shooting anything now. The ranges are all cold.
That means they're not running.
I guess that means you could turn on the people. All
Did you guys like the video I posted?
Oh,
yeah, that was a cool video.
Yeah, I like that.
I haven't seen it yet. I missed it.
She was working that M4 like a pro.
Oh, maybe I did see it.
On the actual qual range, too, she actually qualled expert. I was really impressed.
What is the so is that actually part of the qualification now, is being able to shoot full auto at certain targets? And
no, we weren't turning in any ammo as part of our range or as a part of our ammo draw.
Yeah, so you just burned it up.
Yeah, so we just burned it out. So we set up some near targets, the 50 meter and the 100, and then we had them gave them a couple of 10-round mags and had them set it on burst. And she was one of the few people on her particular line that was laying down all her targets.
Cool.
She actually outshot her team leader, who's former infantry, and we were giving him a hard fucking time about that.
Ooh, shit! I would too.
I
don't know why, but that I sounded like something I would do.
But yeah, no, I'm really impressed with all of my soldiers and their range performance this weekend. Everybody, our company average was like 33 out of 40.
The reason why I wouldn't is because it implies that there's some form of sexism there, that as a man he should be able to outshoot that woman. That's why I'm saying that.
No. It was completely that a non-combat arms soldier. It was that a non-combat arms soldier outshot a former combat arms soldier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in a combat arms unit. Like, I would have given him the same amount of shit if one of my other homegrown soldiers, basically like they non-combat armed soldiers, had outshot the former infantryman.
Most of your guys could probably outshoot me now. I'm so out of fucking practice. I'd be lucky if I could shoot the side of a barn, even if it fell on me.
I don't know, man. I give you a couple of rotations on the first table, or on table 1 and 2 with an ACOG, man. You'd fall right back in on it, and you'd at least be hitting sharpshooter.
I've never shot with an ACOG. But man, how hard is it to shoot with an optic?
Dude, I didn't even shoot with my own weapon. I borrowed somebody else's ACOG that was zeroed on them, and I shot sharpshooter.
Yeah, for a long time, I used to be able to do that with just about anybody's, as long as the weapon was set at like iron sights. As long as the iron sights were set to, basically to the default, I could shoot any rifle.
Yeah, you can. I mean, if you know what you're doing, you can qual any rifle that has a Battlefield 0. But
I would like to do a shout out real quick.
Thank you for telling me that. I forgot the term.
Brojo is live right now. If anyone would like to check out his channel, and I'd just like to throw that out. And that's it.
Hey, one more aside before I get back on post. Jill was sarcastically saying, "Jefferson, I can't spell," and he misspelled "can't."
Oh, nice.
Did he spell it with a U?
Okay, wait. No. He has to be doing this on purpose at this point. How do you misspell can't?
He doesn't use contractions or commas.
Cerberus.
Well,
he's got
be
a
honest-
case of Gavin thumbitis.
Oh, okay.
Wait, in the side chat, is he blue in the side chat? Because I'm not looking at the screen. If he's blue, then that's actually Jill. But earlier today in Quentin's channel, he was like doing like spelling ones, and I think he said something about being drunk. And like I thought it was a sock account. I'm like, there's no way this is Jill saying that he's drunk online. There's no way.
I was going to say, I gave up impersonating him as Jesus is Lord a long time ago. So
that's a scary place to be inside the mind.
Dude,
there's lots of room.
Oh, I remember when you did that, Jay.
I got banned.
Well,
I got banned
he
from
does know about the
I got banned from
he
Nakasuchi's
does
channel.
know about wanting to debate me. So,
You know what is really cool though about getting into the mind of Jill is it's rent free. There's plenty of space and lots of potential for improvement.
True.
Yeah, but all
fixer,
but
it's a
it has
fixer
quite
upper
a draft.
opportunity. It's a fixer upper opportunity, but my God, it's drafty.
Cobwebs, man.
I actually wanted to say something about the whole sola scriptura problem. There's another doctrine that actually is much better for the church to hold. It's called prima scriptura. Prima scriptura is a much better doctrine than sola scriptura. So I would say anyone who wants the word prima scriptura means scripture above all else, referring to prioritizing the inspired scripture over other things rather than saying scripture alone. Because in fact, even if you're just prioritizing the divine scriptures over other things, the other things can still can help you with things. But when you use sola scriptura as your guide, you come into problems because you have the oral Torah. You have other oral traditions that without them, you can get a lot of heresies just from reading the scriptures as they are. Because
I'm all about heresies, man.
You can easily misread something when you're focusing on scripture only.
I'm going to apologize for jumping in here real quick, Abel. But I gotta go. So I didn't want to be rude and just drop out, but I gotta leave. And Abel, I really love what you're saying, man. And you're spot on tonight, my dude.
Later,
Sergeant.
See ya, Sarge.
Yep. Have a good night, Sarge out.
May
Have
your
a good
weapon
one.
feed.
Take care.
May your weapon operate as well as your penis. What? He's got 6 kids. Come on, he's shot and scored at least 6 times, right?
Shoots, he scores.
Can I ask you one more biblical question, Jefferson?
Kobe.
Wait, did somebody say that they had a question for me?
Yeah, Jefferson, can I ask you one more biblical question? Because during the debate, you said that Paul believed that they were in the end time, so to speak, or it was near. Is that what you said?
Hang on, let me turn you up.
Can you repeat? Yeah, his volume.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're really low, Fifth Trumpet. Could you possibly get closer to your mic?
Should I come out and come back in?
No, it's. I think it's. That sounds a little better. Can everyone hear him there?
Yeah, just get closer to the mic.
Oh, I'm right.
No, I couldn't. Yeah.
You may need to increase the sensitivity of your mic if you're on your laptop or something. You may have to go into your settings and increase the sensitivity of your mic.
I apologize if I'm echoing because I cranked my volume up to hear you, Fifth Trumpet. I can't hear you. So
I did not hear an echo.
Tickle your mic's balls a little bit and see if that helps.
No, I'm good. I mean, if you can't hear it, I'll just forget it.
No, you're just really
right
low.
There. Go ahead. I think right there. Go ahead.
You're good there. You're good.
Oh, yeah. Well, now I was in the debate. You said that Paul believed that they were in the end time, so to speak, or that it was very near. Did I hear you right? I mean, is that what you said? Because I've heard other people say that.
Yes.
Okay. Well, then, yeah. I mean, I would just be wondering, like, what verses would make you say that, and.
Well,
that's a long question.
No, I mean the verses in support of that would have been the 7 undisputed letters of Paul, because in those ones, that's the one where he's actually describing the church as sort of a loose leaf collection of people who they become saved and they accept the gift of the Spirit, and the gift of the Spirit is like one thing. They get like one thing, and then they go on their way. So
wait a minute.
Is that the Septuagint? Is that what the Septuagint means?
No, the Septuagint is actually the Greek translation of the Tanakh, which is the Hebrew Bible, which was available to a lot of Greek-reading, Greek-literate Jews in places like Alexandria, Egypt.
Okay.
So,
my brother knows his biblical stuff.
Yeah.
I don't focus on such shit because I believe that my brain's kind of like Sherlock Holmes says. It's like an attic with limited space, and so I just discard all that shit.
Yeah, but since my brain usually ends up engaging in most of this stuff online, I usually arm it with stuff that involves this shit.
Mine has been filled up with porn, bong resin.
So has mine, which makes my my quest against the Christian a real challenge.
Hey Jefferson, is there any what do you think you could have done better?
Not talk to Gavin.
Yeah.
True.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually, not had a discussion with him.
I really think that the Christians need to sit Gavin down, tell him, hey, stop doing debates. You're making us look bad. You lose every debate you're in. So far, you've lost to Skylar, Jefferson, me, Jay.
No. I'm going to correct you right there. There was no debate to lose there because they weren't even on the same page. There was no debate to win or lose in the conversation that they were having with Nicola and myself. Was not a debate. They had a different interpretation of what the topic was supposed to be about. Nicola and I were on the same page, and he and Gavin and Praise and Gavin were on the same page, but those didn't mesh. Nicola and I called that before it ever even occurred.
I think Gavin and SJ should team up and go debate as many people as possible. That's what I would see.
I heard a rumor that SJ doesn't like Gavin.
Go ahead, Arafel.
The person I think Gavin should debate is Soccer Nike. Because that's probably the only debate Gavin could win. That's probably the only one he could win, unfortunately. Dr. Naik, the leading Muslim apologist, who's very bad at his job, mind you.
I would say that no man could ever do any harm to Christianity because ultimately no man is a representative of Christianity. That the one that is Christ. And that's the only one who is the actual representation of Christianity.
Yeah, but Christianity was formed after the interpretation of those is based after Jesus' teachings, though. So
Jesus is a Jew. He's not even a Christian.
Yeah,
indeed.
So I'm trying to see what Todd's getting at. Well, Christianity, it's not Judaism, so I don't think Jesus is a Christian.
I didn't say Jesus. I said Christ.
Jesus wasn't. Well, he wasn't a Christian. He was a heretic.
Well, I wasn't talking about, like I said, I was talking about Christ.
Like I said before, there's good information and there's bad information, and you got to figure your way through it. Because I'm hearing a lot of strange things that I would say is bad information.
Like what?
Christ wasn't a Christian.
Yes.
No, technically no, because he
Christ man. That's what it means.
Yeah, no, but it's based on people following the teachings of Christ.
He wasn't a Judahite. He's from the bloodline of Mary. That's a Judahite.
He wasn't a real person.
Well, don't get into the mythicism thing. All I'm saying is that there's an argument that can be made that Jesus wasn't a Christian. The Christians came after So the Christianity was forming after, based on the teachings of Jesus Christ.
Yes.
So I don't think
that's
Jesus is the, so why Jesus is the foundation of that Christian faith, I don't think it's fair to call Jesus a Christian, considering he's not a follower of himself.
Yes.
Considering he was a Jew.
Actually, Christianity technically is a Jewish sect. Unfortunately, people like to divorce Christianity from Judaism, which I think is a very bad idea.
Indeed.
I think that's foolish.
I would say that the Word was in the beginning, the Word was with God, and the Word became flesh.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Well, since the Christians, or since the Jews don't believe that Christ is the Messiah,
well, there
then
are
I
Jews
think that
But like I said, I don't like to argue about it. It just goes nowhere.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I would like to. Sorry, hold up, Jay. Hold up. Sorry.
Yep, fine. Nope, all good.
What I was gonna say, DT, is like it's not necessarily that they don't believe in Christ, because ultimately Christ is Messiah. It's just that they don't believe Jesus was Messiah the same way they believe, like the Islams believe that the Prophet Muhammad was Messiah. In that aspect,
Well, actually, the Muslims don't believe Muhammad was the Messiah. They believe Jesus, or as they call him, Isa, was al-Masih, or the Messiah. So
the
don't
Jews.
say Muhammad
Okay, well, I
is
can
the
get into
Messiah.
that bucket then.
That's incorrect. I'm sorry to say.
That's
made a
fair.
mistake.
I don't know much about Islam, so whatever. That's fair.
Yeah, so that's why I'm
Oh,
here
dude,
to correct.
Oh, dude, it's some fantastic reading. If you go reading the Quran, you can learn all sorts of interesting things.
Yeah, you can. Like, the Spirit of God breathed into Mary's
All right.
private part according to the Quran.
After Abel, go ahead, DT.
The Jews
Then Jay.
believe the Messiah. The Jews believe the Messiah has not come yet.
Well, and they would be right. His triumphant coming hasn't happened yet. The problem is, early Jews believed in two Messiah figures, a suffering servant and a triumphant king. Unfortunately, when Jesus came, because of the way the religious leaders demonized Jesus, the idea of the suffering servant was pushed under the rug by many Jews, which is why they don't recognize him as the Messiah. In fact,
Oh.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Of the two different Messiah roles, according to
Sorry for over
Christian
talking.
beliefs. So
It's your
basically,
channel.
there are
Right.
two roles of the Messiah in early Judaism.
So how do you, or whoever, somebody was trying to square that, why, so why are the Jews, why don't the Jews and the Christians get along, or something to that effect?
Well, I think the real trick is that one of the reasons why was because they had a preconceived notion of who their Messiah would be, right? At least according to the Bible. And that was one of the things that the Pharisees were having a problem, that they had a problem with. Here you have Jesus coming in.
Jews. You're speaking of the Jews.
Well, yeah, because that's predominantly what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a messianic prophecy of this particular one person coming about to basically be that ultimate sacrifice to save all the Jews, to basically grant, or basically save them from any from sin, right? To basically wash them from sin.
Okay.
So the I think what happened was, at least from being raised in that religion, was the Pharisees, the religious leaders of that time, of that culture, they had a preconceived idea of how a Messiah would necessarily comport based on the information that they already had established coming from the Old Testament, or, coming from the Septuagint. And that's why they were kind of angry, because here comes Jesus and he starts talking some interesting stuff, kind of reinterpreting some of the laws and reinterpreting what the intentions were to this and this and that, and they didn't like that, and that's kind of what got him in hot water.
Yes, that's correct. You are right. Except it's even more complicated because of the two Messiah figures. Some people read it as there being two different Messiahs, but in fact, there were some early Jews that believed that it's the same person who would appear twice in history. Be it, some of them interpreted it as maybe reincarnation. Others said he dies and rises again. There were differing views in the early period in Judaism, where right before Christianity, there were very different Judaism is always been very varied. There's a lot of variation in early Judaism,
I
and
think I think I think Jesus was just an ancient Near East Chris Angel. Chris Angel, mind fuck.
I would say to what Ariel is saying, there's a mention to what Christ says in something about the Son of Man coming in the times of Noah. That's mostly reference, I
Doubting
think, to the
Thomas,
second
mute your
coming.
mic if you're going to have the coughs, dude. Sorry, Todd. Sorry.
That's fine.
He's sitting there hacking and shit off his bong.
But yeah,
No,
there's
I'm
that.
sorry for that. I'm sorry for that. At that time, I wasn't bonging. I was just coughing. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I thought you might have taken a little hit there.
Well, put a fucking mask on. Be courteous.
Okay,
No.
okay,
Go ahead, Ariel.
What it says is that as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the coming of the Son of Man. That's what you were referring to.
Oh, Jefferson, hold up. Can I? Yes, thank you, Abel. Jefferson, can I have you post your StreamYard link in the side chat as well for anyone else who might want to join in the side chat and
Jeff?
whatnot, and also post your channel if you could.
Wait, Jeff went live?
I have it. I just can't copy and paste it because. Oh wait, I can.
No,
Never mind.
I didn't. I started one, but I didn't finish it. So.
Well, I think
So
you might want to check your channel because it might still be up on your videos. It might still be ticked up as live, or at least coming up as being live.
If you have it waiting in the background, that's fine. I can actually end this now because I think Dindin's almost done.
No, it's all right. Take a look.
All right.
He's gonna be physically done in about another hour, so he's gonna fall asleep.
All right. Me too.
He's gonna fall on stream again.
I'm freaking. I've been drinking and I've been freaking. I'm tired. I didn't get much sleep the
I
night
might go
before.
live. When Tog ends, I'll just go live myself. That's what I'm planning.
Cool. Arifel's cool as beans. Yeah, I should go over there.
All right. Well, hey, Jefferson, thanks for your time. Adam's son, good information.
Sure.
And thanks for having me on, Todd.
No problem. Talk to you
Have
later.
a nice
Trumpet.
day, and God bless.
Yes, God bless.
Is this off air yet? Because I want to start swearing a lot.
No, you can start swearing. I'm still good. I'm still waiting for the wife to say Dindin's done. Like I said, I'm just waiting till that time.
Oh, but it's still live. No, I really wanted to just go off.
Just fucking cuss you, fucking god dang wannabe ginger mother.
We're on Tog's channel.
You
I just wanted to bounce.
German.
I wanted to bounce some ideas off some people about my next hate mail that I send to Gavin.
Yeah, if that's what
that was such a child thing to do.
That's not something I want to hear because even though I don't agree with Gavin on things, he is a Christian, and I just don't want to end up committing any sins. I have enough people in my life that are Christians that are very annoying that put me in that position.
Don't be afraid of the fat git.
Okay, let me clarify. Let me clarify something. If he thinks that an email from me, an atheist who can't justify anything ultimately, can't ground any kind of reasoning ultimately, sends him an email saying, "I think you're a horrible person," and he calls that hate mail, he's a snowflake.
Well, especially when he's got to send it to Jill to back him up on it.
Well, no, Jill didn't back up anything. Jill responded for him. He didn't respond to the email. And my email contained no foul language. It didn't. I didn't call him like, you're. I didn't say something like you're worth as much as the shit stain that my dog might leave across the runner as it itches his butt after taking a shit. I did not use any language like that, nor was I tempted to. I just simply said, I think you're a horrible person. I think you're a disgrace. That's basically all it was. It was an opinion. There was no foul language. I didn't call him a git. I didn't call him an asshole. I didn't call him anything like that. And if he considers that hate mail, he's got to do some growing up still.
Yeah.
considering the way that he's egged on Red Fang and the barbs that him and Red Fang have shot past each other's bowels.
Well, even last night, like, and now it's going to sound like complaining, but it's just bringing up a topic. For example, I was watching Praise's live stream, and then he goes in like, he talks about how my channel and everyone's bitching about them, and what happened was everyone was on. I was there. Matt Bond was there. I had dropped because my phone died, and I was asking clarifying questions to Matt Bond. And then Matt Bond was just giving me his opinion about, how it went, and I would agree with him. Gavin kept interrupting and adding discourse to the conversation that was trying to be had. And that's all we were saying. That's not complaining at all. It's just making the critique about the discussion that we were in.
Sure.
And yet he comes on and says that we're bitching on my channel and acting like women. And then, Matt Bond went on Praises, and then I went on Praises to confront it because I'm like, dude, no, we're not even doing that. Like, we're just asking questions.
You mean
no one's talking smack about anything.
You mean he's equivocating as though women are a lesser thing when one took him for $250,000?
Yep.
Well, he gave it away freely. But
yeah, but she ended up getting an extra $100,000. He ended up having to pay $100,000 in court costs too.
Oof.
Yeah. So not only did she get to keep the $250,000, the $100,000 that it cost her to defend herself, because since he was the plaintiff.
No wonder he's living in a one-bedroom apartment.
I'm gonna be
now.
facetious right now. See, if like there you go. There you atheists go, thinking about the materialistic value of money, like that means anything to a Christian when that's just that comes and goes.
Wait, hold on, real quick.
Go ahead.
It seemed to mean something to him when he was trying to buy his ex-wife back for $250,000.
Right.
No, it seemed
and she caught him. According to articles, she caught him.
You're wrong.
She caught him in bed with another woman. She caught him cheating.
That's technically not when the 250 mattered. It mattered when he tried to sue to get it back. That's when it mattered. Not the first part.
No,
the second
it mattered.
part, I think more.
It mattered because she didn't stay.
Yep.
It mattered because she didn't stay with him. He paid the 250. He deposited $250K into her account, and they had a kind of a little bit of a relationship there for a little bit. And she's like, "Yeah, this isn't gonna."
Sorry, real quick disclaimer.
Sure.
This is all public knowledge. You can find it online. Just saying, this is all pro knowledge.
Yeah, we're not talking about anything. Yeah, this is not controversial.
Just look up the Git's name, and you'll find everything that we're talking about. It's public record.
I'm not talking. Yeah, exactly. This isn't controversial. But the thing is that what mattered was the fact that he gave her the money, and in his mind, he had the pretense was that she would come back to him, so they would still share the $250,000 if they got back together, right? But she didn't. She was like, "No, this still isn't going to work," and she kept the money and she left
that's kind
anyway.
of fucked up. I'm sorry,
and then he sued her to get the $250,000 back. And in the course of that court case, apparently she spent like $100,000 in legal fees. And not only did she get to keep the original $250K, he had to also pay her $100,000 in court costs to defend herself. The court awarded her that. So he was out $350K at the end.
That's true. I agree with No Direction. You can't buy love, but you can't buy happiness.
But you can buy sex.
You don't need to buy sex.
Some people can.
You're right.
But you can. You can. I can drive 3.5 hours.
What's up, Bon?
Due east of me, roughly, and buy sex.
Still gossiping like little girls. Tog's channel.
Yeah, just like when Jill goes on Veckel's channel.
Little girl.
Gossip twins.
It's not
He's
gossip.
been on Veckel's. I think I've
Yeah,
seen
it's
him
not
in Veckel's
gossip when
side
it's
chat.
true.
It's not gossip when it's record.
Yeah. Oh, is Yum Yum's done?
I just went live. I'm live now.
Okay. Arafel is live now because he's gonna piece the fuck out already. So, Arafel, if you do everyone the honors and post your link in your channel in the private chat or side chat, whatever you should choose, so people can go over to your channel. That would be mostly appreciated. Or whatever. I can't speak right now. Fuck.
It's already posted in the private chat.
It is posted in the private chat. I will copy and paste his YouTube channel. in the side chat, so everyone can go there and
I can't copy
go
that.
to his live stream.
I can't copy that on the phone. StreamYard, you bitches.
Oh, I can copy it on my phone because my phone is awesome.
Yeah, for some reason when I'm looking at the private chat, I see the link, but I can't copy and paste it.
Men don't gossip. Jesus never debated, so Jesus was more man.
Todd, come on. Come on.
I will say that to the day
No,
I die.
Jill,
you don't need a debate when you have the truth. And Christ was the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, you should reveal that, but also you should also reveal the rest of that truth.
Wait, what? You said what isn't truth? I didn't hear that last
Everyone actually access those points?
I love
Which
this.
points?
I love this. I just love this false shaming kind of thing. Goes on Veckel's channel and debates, never gossip. Shaking my head. Oh, just everybody just bend your head down in shame. Do we need sackcloth? Do we need to throw some dirt on our head? Whoa.
I think a couple Hail Marys might solve it. Our Fathers. 2 Hail Marys, 5 Our Fathers.
Don't forget to burn a couple See, I think you know what? I think I want to give an argument sometime about
no offense to Catholics out there. I used to be an ex-Catholic, so I'm part of the standard. So fuck off.
Well,
I kind of figured he was, but in the way that you actually deliver that, sounds like you're delivering like a defense for them.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. What I would like to argue is I think I found the history of where barbecue came from. Somebody was burning offerings, so it's offering burnt offerings to the God of the Bible or to just gods in general, and they just decided to take a bite. And they went, man, I can see why he likes this.
Well, shit.
You just picture, like, you can actually do like a gif of that or a meme of it where this guy is like in ancient Near East garb and stuff, and he's got this pit set up, and he's got this stone grate, and he's sacrificing like an animal, and you just kind of see him, and he's got this sheepish look on his face, like he's looking around side to side, and he just kind of takes his knife and takes a portion off it, and he bites into it, and he's, that's good.
Well, let's go a little bit deeper into it. If you do recall, the priest did get a share of the good meat, and like some of the whatever went to God, and that was burnt up as the offering. But there was some select choice meats, I believe, that went to the priest, and then I don't remember if anything got passed down to the congregation. I believe that was the case. So it was kind of like that, like the priest.
That's the beginning. That's the beginning of barbecue.
Yes. Well, in that aspect, the name. I don't want to go into the history of the name barbecue because that's dark. But that's a stream for maybe Jill's channel.
There's nothing like smoked turtle dove.
But all right, since Eric has this going, I will not keep him delaying and waiting for people. So thank you all, and Jeff,
let's keep him waiting,
and Red Fang for stopping by, and everyone, of course, in the side chat who stopped by. It's a shame that we didn't get Gavin in here. It would have been nice to have him in.
He's probably waiting for. He's probably waiting
Look
for.
Look who joins as the stream's about ready to end.
He was in
Jill.
a one-way stream.
Oh, he went over the one-way stream.
I felt bad about this because this one guy's streams end up into this kind of thing. Like he's just like
this involved somehow.
Yeah.
But all right, Jill, you caught the end of this, so sorry I figured I'd end you in just because you came in.
I'm still reading all your new rules.
Good. Get familiar.
Did you read all the terms of service to your smartphone too?
Yes. All right, guys. Take care. Love. God bless and all that.
Take it easy.
Be a dog.
Be good and stay on guard.
Thank you, Doug.